Tio. Going to the gym after this anyway, so I might as well just. I'm putting a hat on there too, so I have to get a haircut. V-bad. Hat comes on. Hat comes
All right, we're
on.
officially live.
My back hurts.
And you're gonna complain about not being able to see it. Here it comes.
I can't see it.
Any second.
It says
There it
live.
goes.
Can't see it.
There we go.
Every time. It's crazy. How bad do you want somebody to subscribe during the us being live?
We need it bad.
You want it so bad, don't you?
Well, we have a lot. You know that we average probably about 3 subscribers every live stream. Seriously.
We didn't get any yesterday during it. So.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We got
No,
2.
we didn't.
Yes, we did. 1,000%.
I thought you said something was supposed to happen.
I know. No. The notification didn't work. I don't know why. I was looking too.
We didn't get any yesterday. I promise you during it. We had 190 the whole time.
Yeah, and we had 192 at the end of it. I promise you. Okay. All right. You can say what you want. I don't care. Right now we have 197.
I know. I see that. It's not enough. I mean,
Never enough.
Can't be what's going on. Thaddeus Young, goodbye. Thaddeus Young, goodbye. Lauren McIntyre, are you playing? I still think he sits. Marketing.
Yeah, it's a sprained ankle, so that's not something you take lightly. Especially if it's fresh. It also depends on how bad, but still. Speaking from experience, those things suck.
Your boy's in the lineup right now.
I know. We're gonna talk about that. Because I did a little bit of research on that.
This price tag is...
Welcome to the people joining. Welcome. We're going to give it a few minutes and we'll go ahead and start. Until then, you're going to have to listen to TJ ramble.
Who wants to hear me ramble?
Or sing. Which is worse.
That's way worse. Well, I wish I could pull up the stream, but I can't pull up the stream. I said I can't.
We'll give it a few more minutes, guys. Then we'll go ahead and start talking. This is why we need background music. This is why we need to get sponsored by somebody.
Give me a sing, I'll sing it.
We don't need you to sing. We need a sponsorship by a band of some sort, and we just need them to play while we have dead time.
Maybe I can hit up.
How amazing would that be?
Maybe I can hit up Scrantonicity and see if they do anything besides weddings.
Wait, who'd you say?
Scrantonicity?
Yeah.
Go see what Kev's got going on.
What's up, Sano?
Oh, finally it popped up on our stream. That we're streaming.
What's up, guys? We're just gonna give it probably another minute, and then we'll go ahead and start talking. Have those questions ready because this is a big slate, so we have a lot to talk about, which is why I decided to start a little early today. Are you calling somebody?
I'm sorry?
It sounds like you're calling somebody.
It sounds like I'm calling somebody?
Yeah.
No. I'm not calling anybody. I want to know if TJ McConnell's playing, so I might call him.
All right. 11 people just joined. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our live stream, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing up. Go ahead and submit your questions right now. We're going to be monitoring that throughout the entire stream. We have a lot to talk about. We have some injury news to be waiting on throughout the stream. So as you guys know, for the people who have been with us, we update all the injury news in the middle of the stream, and we tell you what we're going to be doing, what direction we're going to go. So hopefully the stream is helpful for you guys. And for everybody who has been with us, thanks for coming back and enjoying your Monday night with us. TJ, how are you doing?
I'm good, Matthew. How are you?
Doing great. What do you want to start talking about? Because there's a lot of different directions to go on the slate. I feel like we can talk about the high over-under Spurs Milwaukee game all the way down to the Pelicans. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, let's start with my hometown squad. Let's start with that Celtics Wizards
All
game.
right, we'll do that.
So we're obviously still pending the biggest news out of that game, which is whether or not Bradley Beal will be playing tonight or not. So that remains the question for the Wizards side. I think if Beal sits, that obviously opens up a ton of value for them, like we've seen over the past few nights. They actually sent forward Jonathan Williams down to the G League, so I think his 10-day contract expired. So they're actually losing bodies, and I'm pretty sure Admiral Schofield is no longer with them. He's in the G League as well, so they already have a lieu of injuries. Bradley Beal still pending, so I feel like they might have a pretty tight rotation tonight as well if Beal sits. They obviously have a tough matchup against the Celtics, and the Celtics have probably the most obvious chalk play of the night, which is Marcus Smart going up against those Wizards guards at 5'2", very cheap price. Should probably be a core play in all of your cash builds tonight. Much too cheap going up against Washington. And that's really all I like from the Celtics side in cash. I'm not really too high on Tatum, Hayward, or Brown. I think they're pretty good GPP plays, but it's always tough to decipher between those three who's actually going to do a bulk of the work. I feel like one game it's Tatum, the next it's Brown, the next it's Hayward. I think your safest play tonight on the Celtics side is Marcus Smart. And then obviously with the Wizards, Bradley Beal playing or not is huge news. And then if Bradley Beal plays, I think he's a pretty good option tonight. But we'll obviously have to wait and see, and I'm sure we'll get word of that shortly as to whether or not Beal is playing.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, I feel like the Wizards are a constant headache. We're still awaiting that Beal news. If he is out, we're going to be looking towards some good plays from them. Troy Brown is finally, for the first time, overpriced, even without Beal. Thank goodness, because I've been getting just a lot of headaches from playing him because he's just not been very consistent for me. But yeah, I completely agree with you on the Boston side. So if we talk about Marcus Smart had an eruption the last. Not last game, but the game before against Atlanta. They're playing in a similar pace game, a similar horrible defensive unit in the Wizards. Defensively, they just struggle against pretty much everybody, pretty much every position. It's going to be an up-paced game for Boston. I think if you're going to play anybody from this game, it's definitely going to start with Smart. And then I completely agree with you. The Celtics are like my Spurs in the regard that you don't really know who's going to step up any given night. We're in the stronger West, so if we did show up straight up, I think we'd show up in the 7-game series against you guys. You guys are not that great. You're actually kind of overrated. But we won't talk about all that. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Gordon Hayward are all GPP plays for me. If you're gonna play, if you're gonna stack them, don't do that. I would advise playing Smart in one of those guys. You could possibly get away with a third, but you know, I wouldn't advise a stack, no. But these guys are all set up in great positions individually. So Marcus Smart being the best option, absolutely. I completely agree with you there.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch of updates. Also, guys, if you guys could help us out, just fire away any updates in the chat. Please do that to help us out because we're going to be looking up and down from our phone up to our stream, and I'm going to be monitoring the chat as well. So do us a favor and help us out. Greatly appreciated.
Yeah, it looks like McConnell's good to go. So I was actually going to be looking at Aaron Holiday if McConnell was out, seeing as they don't have really any guards if McConnell sits. I think Aaron Holiday would have been, playing north of 35 minutes tonight, so that kind of stinks. But so that's good to know though that McConnell is he's good to go for tonight.
All right, I want to move on to the next bit of injury news. Let's go ahead and go with this. I want to talk about the Pelicans last. Let's go ahead and talk about Dallas. They are without Porzingis, and it looks like Tim Hardaway is going to play. So that shakes things up a little bit. It gives Doncic a fairly nice boost. 9.7 fantasy points per minute.
Yep.
Makes him obviously an elite play. He's one of the best players in the league. Especially without Porzingis on that team. It's a slight pace-up game for them. Doncic, actually, it shows him being in a bad matchup against Chicago, but I wouldn't look at that too much just because he is an elite player. We have him at 66.98 fantasy points at 5.6, 5.5 for me, 5.6 for you, point per dollar value. I want to say this, that Doncic is definitely a good play tonight for GPPs in particular because of his low ownership, and 12.2 is still a decent underpricing of a tag for him. What are your thoughts on Doncic?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he'll be in my cash build tonight. I'd love to get up to him, but the 10-9 price tag for Giannis is just kind of absurd. So I think I'm going to go that route and get Giannis tonight, even though he burned me last time against the Spurs, fool me once. So we'll see what happens tonight. But yeah, no, Luka's definitely a great play at 197 fantasy points per minute. We've seen what he's been doing without Porzingis. He's got his usage rate is absurd. They're at home tonight. I mean, Hardaway's back, but Luka's just been absolutely dominant so far this year, and he's been so fun to watch, man. It's been a treat being able to watch this kid just grow in front of our eyes, and just what he does night in and night out is just special. So for tonight, I think, like I said, he'll probably just be a GPP play. If you can pay up for him and he can fit in your lineups and you want to get up to him and surpass Giannis, then by all means. But for me, it's going to be tough tonight not taking Giannis at 10-9.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And like I said, a GPP option, but a good one at that. We're not just going to say GPP just because he has low ownership. We're saying this is a great play at 12.2, and especially if there's some more value that opens up, let's say with the Wizards or something like that, plug Doncic into your GPPs and play him with confidence because he has a good matchup face-up game. He, as you know, he is the man. Would you go anywhere else in Dallas? Is there any other players you're looking at besides Doncic or no?
Well, I was hoping that Hardaway would sit because I liked the Seth Curry 4,500 price tag. I was assuming he'd see 24, 25.
There's still that possibility, but not likely.
Yeah, no, I think Hardaway's he's probable now, so I'm assuming he's in. So besides Luka, I don't have any interest in Dallas, except if you want to take some flyers on GPPs. None of them will be in my cash builds for tonight.
I'm glad we're on the same page there because I agree. Let's go ahead and shift gears right over to Milwaukee and San Antonio since we just got...
Do you want to touch base on Chicago quick?
Yeah. Well, the only thing is, in my video, I was talking up Thaddeus Young because he was projected at 33 minutes without Markkanen, but it looks like Markkanen actually is questionable, and they're projecting him to play now, at least Roto is. If that is the case, I do not really like anybody from Chicago. I will say that. Nothing more than a GPP option. But if Markkanen is out... Thaddeus Young is a complete lock, 1,000%, probably the highest point per dollar value on the slate. I think before I had him as the highest. No questions asked. Thaddeus Young is a good basketball player. I'm surprised he only gets the minutes he does now. He's not a bad play regardless, but at 33 minutes, he would be an auto lock for me. But outside of that, I don't really like Chicago too much just because of the 104 over under. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, so the over-under kind of scares me, but all these guys actually rate out really well on our sheet with Markkanen out. I think if Markkanen sits, that is the chalkiest play on the slate at 3,700. If he gets those 30-plus minutes, then, yeah, it's pretty evident that he'll be super chalky. But guys like Zach LaVine at 7,700, I like Satoransky at 55, even Chris Dunn at 4,900. If all those guys get 30 minutes plus, Matt, they're all rated out pretty well on our sheet. So I feel like they might not carry as much ownership in cash, but I really like a Chicago stack as a GPP play tonight if Markkanen is out. Now, I wouldn't advise you to do it. Like, I wouldn't go all in on the Chicago Bulls tonight with going up against Dallas on the road. But I do like them as an option if Markkanen sits. Yeah,
I mentioned that in the video. They are all underpriced without Markkanen on the floor slightly. But again, it is a pace down game for them. I do like some of these plays, and like you said, I wouldn't advise a complete Chicago stack and not like an all-in thing. But taking a couple of these players, they could easily pay off for me. But again, that's without Markkanen, so we haven't heard that news. So again, wait for that. Hopefully, we get that before the stream ends. This is an 8:30 game, so I feel like that's a toss-up whether we're here or not. Now we'll go ahead and shift gears to the Milwaukee-San Antonio game. I want to talk about Milwaukee before I do San Antonio. So this is one of the highest paced games on the entire slate. I think it is the highest. Yes. Barely.
Yeah, it's right up there.
Yeah. And also, guys, real quick, for the guys asking the questions, we're not ignoring you. We will get to your questions. I just want to touch base on what the general direction is going to look like on the slate before we start answering individual questions. So we are not ignoring you. Please fire away your questions. We'll go up and down, look at all of the questions, and then answer it, guys. Plus, we will give you a general direction once all the injury news comes out. If you haven't already, guys, please hit that subscribe button. I know all of you guys are probably here from YouTube, so you get that notification whenever we go live to go stream. We do this before every slate, so hopefully we guys give you we give you an edge for every slate. I'm sorry, just keep getting notifications. So Milwaukee. You already touched base on Giannis. Do you like anybody else? It is a high-paced game, so I'm looking at people like Bledsoe, Middleton. They're not bad plays.
Yeah, if I'm
good.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad plays. If I'm going anywhere, it is Eric Bledsoe, but Pat Connaughton's out. So it doesn't really shake up too much because he was only getting 18 to 20 minutes a game. A little bit more in blowouts, which, I mean, the Bucks have done a lot this year. So he was playing like 20, 22 minutes. I feel like those might be dispersed evenly between maybe DiVincenzo. I also see Ilyasova getting a projection of 18 minutes. I feel like that hasn't been the norm for him unless one of those big guys like Middleton or Giannis or Bledsoe's out. Not necessarily Bledsoe, but Giannis and Middleton. So I think Ilyasova might take Connaughton's minutes. And with that being said, I still think that if I'm taking anybody tonight, it is Giannis. But yeah, I guess actually Ilyasova has been playing around 18 minutes tonight. So for me, it's Giannis is who I want to get up for cash. And then besides that, Eric Bledsoe. And outside of those two, it would just be GPP plays.
I'm all in on that as well. I completely agree with you. It's actually showing pretty low ownership, guys. So any one of these players would be a good, decent, viable GPP option. But outside of that, I wouldn't advise in stacking these guys. It's not like these guys are all underpriced. They're all fairly priced, and except for Giannis. Giannis at 10.9. I feel like that's a mispricing against any team that he plays. Let's talk about San Antonio. So I've been digging in a little bit. Lonnie Walker was a starter last game, and he did perform. He didn't perform too well. I will admit it, and that's my man. But we have yet to hear that he is getting the starting role again. So with Pop, as you know, that he can switch on the dime. I did say that San Antonio is going to do something drastic soon. This might be their drastic moves, moving Walker into the lineup. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him again. If he is playing, if he is starting, I don't expect a repeat performance like last time against Milwaukee. I feel like he will step up a little bit more. We know Walker is a good basketball player, good fantasy point per minute basketball player. I think he's a viable option, certainly in GPPs. He might even be a viable option in cash if he is starting again and he's guaranteed that 25 minutes. I also like DeJounte Murray from the Spurs, 5.2. If he is playing 26 minutes, he is very well on our sheet, and he's also a good fantasy point per minute output just across the board. So they do have their full lineup tonight. A majority of the Spurs are underpriced. Again, it's just like the Celtics. You don't know who's going to step up when the spotlight's on them. But if I had to pick two players, I'd pick Lonnie Walker. I'd go Murray. Those are going to be my two plays if I'm playing any of the Spurs. Now, again, I might get one of these guys in cash, but these guys are more GPP options. And I'm only playing Walker if he is inserted into the starting lineup again, because those are guaranteed minutes. Also noteworthy that Murray's in a great matchup. They rank 28th in the league. Milwaukee does against point guards of his kind. Do you agree, disagree with that? Okay.
Yeah, I think Lonnie Walker more of a GPP play. I actually kind of like DeJounte Murray for cash tonight. I feel like the 5.2 price tag is way too cheap for him. Going up against Milwaukee, he actually sat last game against Milwaukee. He was in like the high fives, low six price tag range before sitting last game. So he got a price reduction, and I'm not too sure as to why. The only thing that stinks with him is just the minutes are never there, and you can never be sure. He started to play like 27 minutes a game, only got 24 against OKC, didn't have a great game. But at 5.2, that's too cheap. Going up against Milwaukee, a pace-up spot for them, the highest over-under on the slate. So I do really like DeJounte Murray tonight, and he has a great possibility of ending up in the cash lineup.
Yeah, I do like Murray and I do like Walker. If you're going to take anybody else, Aldridge has a good matchup. But again, I wouldn't advise a stack of these guys, just like the Celtics. I wouldn't advise a stack. If you're going to play GPP plays, pick one or two from this team and move on. Hopefully those are your low-owned guys. But these guys are in pace-up spots. I'm going to go ahead and move on to actually one of my sneaky favorite game on the entire slate. I'm going to go to Sacramento and Golden State. More so Sacramento, but let's start with Golden State. So Golden State has everybody out again. They feel like they're always going to have somebody out for that team as long as Steph Curry, Klay Thompson are on the bench. They are injured. Let me pull up the injury report right now. So they're without Steph, D'Lo, Klay, and now Draymond Green and Looney. So they literally don't have a single star on their team, which is very sad. But good for DFS.
No stars? Come on,
stars.
Man. Marquise Chris? Glenn Robinson III? It's disrespect, Matt.
Yeah, Marquise Chris is at 18 minutes now. So
I know.
Do you like anybody from this team?
Yeah, if Pascal starts, I love him at 3.7. That's way too cheap for him. Should get 27, 28 minutes if he does start. He's a 0.92 fantasy point minute with all those guys off the court, so nothing to write home about. But at 3,700, getting 27, 28 minutes against Sacramento in what could be a high-paced game, even though Golden State's without, obviously, the majority of their studs. It could be a tough spot and could be a sneaky blowout for Sacramento, but still, Pascal, if he does start at 3.7, getting those minutes, it's much too cheap. So he could also, like I just spoke on DeJounte Murray, he could also be in the cash lineup tonight.
I think Pascal's a great play. I think for cash and GPP, as you said, he's not a great fantasy point per minute player, but when he does have minutes, he does perform. I remember when he was playing upward of 35 minutes in the middle of the season, earlier in the season. And he was performing fairly well. I mean, 29, 28, 38, 19, and those are all around 20 to 30 minutes, high 20s to mid 30 minutes. So we know the guy can play when he is given the opportunity. Pascal is definitely a solid option. It's actually showing his ownership at 15%, which is lower than I'd expect, which is great. It's great leverage if you're playing GPPs. So I think he easily gets to his value tonight, especially against Sacramento. Sacramento's not a good defensive team. They literally rank bottom of the barrel for everything. So I definitely do like him. But other than that, I mean, you're shooting, you're just taking a shot in the dark at all these players. Damian Lee, 32 minutes, 6K. He's pretty priced accordingly. Glenn Robinson, 32 minutes, 4.8, also priced accordingly. He's based on his shot production. Alec Burks, 6.5, priced accordingly. And I mean, everybody else is. So I think the real guy that we're looking at here is Pascal.
Yeah, and I think secondary to that, if you do want another guy from Golden State, I think it would have to be Alec Burks.
Alec Burks, yeah. I mean, he's obviously been the guy to carry that offense without any superstar power on the floor.
Yeah, especially when D'Lo's out and now Draymond's out. So if I am taking another guy, it would be him. But I would just advise Pascal for cash and then GPP plays.
For you guys who are just joining, please hit that subscribe button. We are trying to hit a massive goal of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for all the people showing the support, and hit your questions in the live chat. We'll be sure to answer them. I know we haven't answered any questions yet, but that's because we're going over the slate real quick for you guys. Hopefully we answer any questions that you have already asked. Before we do, we're going to go over the Kings here. The Kings intrigue me the most. The reason is because I lost my train of thought. Bogdanovic and Bagley are both out, both high usage monsters for Sacramento, and really everybody gets a boost. I really like the Kings, and I really like Trevor Ariza at 30 minutes. He's pretty decent on our sheet. If he actually is getting 36 minutes at 3.6, I think he is one of the better options on the slate. Buddy Hield, also a fantastic play at 7.2. His price tag might be scary for some, but with Bogdanovic out, a shooter, and Bagley, a usage monster, out, I think Buddy Hield can set himself up for a great shooting night. Also, keep in mind that they are going against Golden State Warriors, so they will get a lot of open shots. I mean, they're going to have plenty of options to score tonight. But Jellica, also a fantastic option at 29 minutes, 5.6K. He actually, I think he was one of the better guys on our sheet for the Kings. And then Rashawn Holmes, 33 minutes. I think that's where the cutoff is. I think De'Aaron Fox is priced accordingly, but I do like these Kings. I wouldn't even mind if you went Holmes or Fox, just because usage is going to be there for them. Who are your favorite plays from this game?
So looking at value, I think it would be Trevor Ariza if you're trying to find a bottom of the barrel guy. If he does play 30 minutes, I mean, he's not a great fantasy point per minute guy. He's only 0.69. Nice. So he's not. I don't think he's a necessity for tonight. But I also like Bielisa. I mean, all these guys could have big games against Golden State if it stays close. De'Aaron Fox's price tag kind of scares me at 8.2. He's been great since he came back from injury, though. Buddy Hield, obviously, we know is a streaky shooter. He's been shooting the ball a lot better since De'Aaron Fox has come back, which is a great sign. At 7.2, he could easily hit his price tag. Honestly, none of these guys really intrigue me for cash. I don't think, as of right now, if any of them, if I had to take one of them for cash, it would probably be Buddy Hield at the 7.2 price tag. But him or Ariza, I guess. But I think there's other spots in which I'm going to be looking for cash. But, that could easily change, in the flip of a switch, depending on some injury news that we're waiting on. So I think Sacramento tonight is a great GPP options. If I am taking a guy for cash, it's probably going to be Buddy Hield. And if I do need some sort of value tonight, even though there should be a good amount of value already, I guess Trevor Ariza getting 30 minutes at 3.6 is viable.
Yeah, and this is definitely a sneaker play. I did say that going into this. So percentage ownership is down on these guys, and it shouldn't be that low. I feel like these guys are going to be some guaranteed easy points against the Warriors. So if you're playing GPP, look towards Sacramento. I do advise as a decent stack tonight for Sacramento. I'll have decent exposures to all these guys. And again, I will show you guys my exposures at the end of the stream once more injury news comes out. So be sure to sit tight and wait for the injury news, and I will give you a sense of direction how we're gonna do all this madness at the end of the slate, or at the end of the stream, and I'll give you a general direction. So let's go ahead and talk about the Pelicans, because they're gonna present a lot of question marks they already have for me. I looked at them. If you're reading my comments in the video that I posted a pinned post and I said that Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram were your best options, and that still is true. I just don't know. I really don't know, because they're playing a great defensive team in Utah. Are they worth it? That's the best question. Are they worth it? And I think there's really only one viable option from this team for cash, and one that really only makes sense, and I think that's Josh Hart. I was saying to TJ, and this does make sense. Brandon Ingram at 8.4 is also a good option, but I think Utah's going to take away his production, rebounding-wise. Just being aggressive, because that's something he likes to do down low. It's going to hurt his offensive production. I really do like Brandon Ingram without Drew Holiday in the court. I really do, and I'm torn. I really am torn. I think I'm going to have a little bit of exposure to Ingram, but not too much. I don't even know if Ingram's going to make it to our cash lineup, but he probably won't. But if there's anybody that I'm going to start from this, it's going to make sense. It's going to be Josh Hart. TJ, I know we already talked about this. I know you somewhat agree, but have you changed your opinion on this?
A little bit. So Utah actually rates...
and it is a pace down. You're right, Eddie. Yeah,
especially on the road, they're the sixth slowest pace team at 99 possessions per. So... Utah at home plays at a faster pace. That's the one thing that always scares us with Utah, right? Is they could easily have a game where it's low 90s, high 80s. They have played at a faster pace this year than they have in past years with Donovan Mitchell. Right now, for value, I think Josh Hart is definitely a viable option for cash if he plays 30 minutes at 4-4, regardless if they're playing Utah or not. As long as he does get the start. Which it's looking like he should be starting. Projected lineup right now is Lonzo, Redick, Hart, Ingram, and Favors. Man, I love going to the well with Ingram whenever I can. He rates out pretty well on our sheet. He's a 5'8". He's a 1.33 fantasy point per minute with Holiday off the court. The 8.4 price tag is iffy, especially against Utah. Who can be so dominant on the defensive side of the ball whenever they lock in. So I don't really like the matchup for Ingram, especially at the price tag. I feel like there's maybe some better plays at that price tag tonight, like Sabonis, and maybe going a little bit lower at John Collins tonight. But Josh Hart at 4,400, if he does see the 30 minutes, he's a 0.92 fantasy point minute with Holiday off. He rates out great on our sheet. So he's definitely somebody I'm interested in tonight for cash. I'm also looking at now, Kenrich Williams is projected at 24 minutes at the bare minimum of 3K. Now, I wouldn't advise for him for cash because I doubt that he carries a lot of ownership. But for a GPP play tonight, especially if, I don't think Utah's going to blow out the Pelicans, but if they do, that could mean more run for a guy like Kenrich Williams off the bench. So at the bare minimum of 3K, if he plays 24 minutes, I do like him as a GPP play.
Yeah, I'd like any one of these Pelicans in GPP just because without Drew Holiday, obviously a high usage guy, if this does end up going higher than 107.5, all these guys are going to pay off their price tag. Well, not all of them, but a majority of them will just because of all the usage that's going to be spread around. But like I said, the only viable option if you're looking for a confident play and I'm ready to recommend the play, it's going to be Josh Hart. Brandon Ingram, totally up in the air. For me.
One thing I want to say as well is this line opened up at 223 and it's actually gone down to, it was at 219 last time I checked, and there was 70%. There was 70% on the under. It's actually gone up a little bit more. So it started at it opened at 223. It's now at 220.5 with 68% of the money coming in on the under. So it looks like the under is getting hammered and the line is adjusting properly. So that doesn't mean sharp money is going on, sharp money isn't really coming into play here. So a lot of people are looking at this game to go under that over under of 223 as it opens. So especially the Pelicans actually dropped 2 points from 110.5 to 108.5. So I'm assuming that's because Holiday's out in the matchup. So, it is a tough matchup for them tonight. So I do like Josh Hart with those minutes. And like you said, Matt, I think all of them could be pretty good GPP plays tonight, especially if this is a competitive game, which it's rating out to be.
Yep, completely agree with you. I'm getting more notifications, but notifications I don't want. I think there's a couple more teams I want to talk about, and then we'll really just be awaiting the injury news, and then we'll start talking about builds like we normally do. Guys, fire away any questions that you have into the chat. Thanks for all the support. We're reaching a higher number here on viewers, so thank you all for the support. Fire away any questions. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to voice your opinion. We want to have a conversation with you guys. We want to make sure that we're going over the entire slate. So again, we're going to wait for some injury news here, and I want to go over the Orlando Magic because they're still without Isaac, and I feel like their price tags aren't really moving that much.
Give me Vooch.
Yeah, Vooch being another great play, and he's been a solid play, and with Brooklyn being not so great of a defensive team,
terrible.
It's going to be a slight pace up spot for Orlando. Sorry guys, that's my dog.
Ellie, no.
Vooch at 32 minutes, 8.3K. Definitely a solid option. Is that your favorite option from Orlando?
Yeah, he is. 8.3 against Brooklyn is almost criminal. So I really do like Vooch tonight. He rates out very well on her sheet. He should have some ownership for sure, especially going up against Brooklyn. The over-under isn't anything intriguing, but the 8.3 price tag, I feel like Vooch has been steadily going up a little bit. With his price, he's going to take, 18 to 20 shots tonight. He'll get you that double-double. I should get at least high 40s, so I do like him tonight against Brooklyn. Interesting note is that Aaron Gordon actually will be playing the 4 again tonight, which he did last game. He actually played 34 minutes, got a double-double. So I kind of like him as a sneaky GPP play. But for cash tonight, it's going to be Vooch for me. And I don't know if you agree with me on that, but it's just Vooch is going to be a very good cash option for a core for tonight. And I think he's definitely going to be in a lot of my builds and probably the main build that I do have. Yeah,
Vooch is the most consistent player on that team. He's always the one player that's going to hover around 40 DK points. I feel like definitely the best option. If I'm looking elsewhere, you're going to kill me again. Windu is another solid bottom of the barrel player, 3.1, 27 minutes. I know he's got not a good fantasy point per minute player, but the last few times, I'm telling you, this is still hitting value. 20 DK points, 16.5 and 16. He's hit value in all those games. I know he's barely hitting it, but look, they're playing in a pace-up game, and he's been pretty solid without Isaac on the court. So I'm just saying.
Look, I
I'm just
can't
spitting
rip on him.
facts
You're
here.
right. He hits value. I mean, the game that I gave you the most crap for him, he actually hit what, 6 times, 6.5 times value. So I
Yeah,
mean,
and he
maybe,
has a good matchup tonight. So I'm just
yeah,
saying. I'm just
the guy
saying.
stinks.
He
Guy stinks.
stinks, but he's gonna get a couple rebounds, all right, and then he'll have value.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe a steal or two, and then he'll foul
And
somebody.
I also want to talk about the other side of the ball, and I actually see Steve asked best cheap center or mid price center. Um, Jared Allen's been terrible these last few games. I feel like for like a week now. He's been brutal, and his price tag has come down immensely. And I think that at 5'3" tonight, what is he, 5'3", 5'2"? Where are you? Oh, he's 5'4". Sorry, 5'4" tonight. If he gets those 28 minutes, I mean, like I said, he hasn't been playing good. He hasn't been taking a lot of shots.
Levert available to play.
I'm sorry?
Levert available to play. That's pretty cool.
No, Levert's out.
It just said available to play.
Levert out Monday, available to play Tuesday.
Oh, you're right.
Reading is hard, guys. Reading is hard.
I was reading the end of that when the notification was going up off my screen. So
Got
sorry.
too excited, Levert.
I did.
So yeah, I actually like Jared Allen's price tag tonight at 5'4". I think he is a viable option for that mid-tier center position. I just think that the price tag's too low. I mean, it's got to be one of the lower price tags that he's had all year. So I really just like the price tag. I don't like the matchup, obviously. It's a low over under. Brooklyn has a 103 over under right now for a team total. But I do like Jared Allen's price tag, so definitely a good GPP option.
Real quick, somebody just came in here and talking about last night, talking about our Bazemore call. What we talked about Miami at the very end of the stream, and we actually crushed it last night. TJ, want to talk about your double up lineup, because I know we haven't talked about last night's success real quick. But I just want to go over that just to make everybody aware. You got 341 in the cash lineup, right?
339 last night. My lineup got. So yeah. So, yep. That's the lineup that I post for our members. Once Jimmy Butler went out, I had a lot of guys in the lineup, and I just completely wiped out what I had. I stacked Miami. I had Tyler Hero, Jones Jr., Bam, and thank God I went Dragic. And I remember on stream last night, I was sitting there and I was looking at my sheet after I inputted all my numbers, and I remember I said out loud, I was like, man, Dragic is just staring me in the face. And I went with him, and it paid off. Came back with Dame, who was fantastic. I got a little scared when that third quarter started. I thought the game might blow out, and then Dame snapped off in the third, kind of brought Portland back. He actually didn't come out in the third, and he started the fourth. So I think he played, I think it was like 22 consecutive minutes in the second half, which was insane. And then finished it off with John Henson. And I know Matt and I talked about Henson and Zizic. I know we said Henson should be your cash play just because we know the minutes will be there. But I know we talked on stream that they're most likely going to split minutes, or one will get a couple more minutes than the other. And I know we mentioned Henson for cash, Zizic for GPP. And I know Zizic hit like 12 times value. Yeah, actually played a couple more minutes than Henson did.
I had I probably the optimal lineup. I wish I had played more, but I had a GPP takedown. It was my best night of the season, other than my $800 GPP takedown not too long ago. But overall, last night was fantastic. So we did talk about Miami. I'm sorry if you played Bazemore when we're under the assumption that we were still really high on Bazemore. Do apologize for that, but we were very high in Miami. So hopefully everybody else had just as much success. So again, if you don't know the general direction to go, we do provide a cash optimal lineup on our website. And of course, we're always here to answer any questions for you guys. But let's go ahead and get back on track here. I just wanted to address that and talk about last night because I know we didn't do that.
Why are you apologizing for Bazemore? Bazemore played well.
He didn't do bad. He didn't do bad, but he didn't do as good as some of these Miami guys that we suggested.
Yeah, I mean, he had 7 and I guess he had 7 and 9. He didn't do anything crazy. Yeah, but once Jimmy got rolled out, man, it was all the heat.
I think there's one more team we missed. It is Indiana. Do you want to talk about Indiana real quick, and then we'll go ahead and start answering all these questions? I know you guys are waiting for waiting for us to answer any questions. So, do you want to go ahead and talk about Indiana real quick?
Yeah, I think I was kind of hoping McConnell would be out because I think Aaron Holiday would have been a really good play. I feel like he would have got like 36 minutes, maybe north of that at 5,800. I'm not really looking at anybody from Indiana for cash now that McConnell's in. I might dabble with Sabonis. I kind of like that matchup for him tonight against those Charlotte Bigs. But yeah, I mean, nothing really intrigues me here for cash, especially, that could be a crappy game. It's the lowest over under on the slate. So nothing really intrigues me. If I am going to take anything, I'll probably be paying up for Sabonis.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sabonis and Aaron Holiday as a GPP are like the only guys that I'm really looking at. They have Doug McDermott tagged here at the 21 minutes, but I have a magic rule. Unless the guy's not a huge fantasy point per minute, I don't usually like playing anybody under 25 minutes unless they are fairly productive. But yeah, I think that wraps up we did a pretty nice overview of this entire slate. I think we touched on pretty much everybody. I don't really advise anybody. OKC, Philly, I mean, other than GPP. Denver, Atlanta's not too much. Jokic was a decent play just because of the bad center play, but even then, they're in a slight pace up spot. But again, they're all fairly priced. I think we covered pretty much everything. So if you want to go ahead, we can start answering any questions. Go ahead and fire your questions away. I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up just a little bit and just start answering. Luka or Giannis, we answered that at the beginning of the stream. Luka both of them for GPP. Luka's a sneaky GPP option. And then Giannis is going to be one of the more chalkier options when you start to pay up. So 10.9, obviously people are going to like that. I'm doing math, 1,300 price discount. So they're gonna take all that and go towards Giannis in the high over under game. So that makes Luka's ownership down, and Luka's not a bad play at all. We still really like Luka.
Yeah, I think they're both really good plays. It's just the price tag of Giannis at 10.9 is just staring us at the face, and even Luka at 12.2. I feel like that's underpriced for what he's been doing so far. So I think both are cash viable and both are really good options. It's tough to kind of decipher. I mean, I know last night, real quick, Matt, I just want to touch on this.
Yep.
We were asked LeBron or AD, and I feel like it's a toss up between those two every time. I know we said LeBron, and LeBron actually had 6 less points than AD. So I mean, there's going to be times where both guys are in really good spots, and it's really tough to even tell who's actually going to be better. I mean, LeBron had a triple-double, and AD still outperformed him in DK because he had 8 blocks. So, I mean, those kind of things are going to happen, but I think you can't go wrong with Luka or Giannis tonight for cash.
Yeah, attention, guys. We are humans, so we do make mistakes. So we're not always perfect. Believe it or not.
I am mostly perfect, but like 94% perfect. So, yeah, mistakes might happen, but more on that side than me.
Yeah, if you play DFS, you know about these massive ups and downs. So hopefully your ups are bigger than your downs. That's the general direction of DFS. So hopefully you can make it through the downs and hit the ups. So I know last night was a fantastic night for us, and hopefully we can continue onward. Let's go ahead and scroll down here. IT is a lock if Beal is out. IT is always a good play, and he's actually one of the highest usage guys on the slate without Beal, believe it or not. Fun fact. However, his minutes always scare me. That's the only thing with him. He's at 4.1, 24 minutes with Beal. You are right. If 4.1 is his price tag and Beal is out, Isaiah Thomas is a very, very good option. I agree with you. But again, we're still awaiting that Beal news.
Yeah, and if you like narratives going up against his old squad, so.
That's true. I didn't even notice that. Good call.
Yeah. You're welcome. See, 94% perfect.
There you thoughts on Paul Millsap. Yeah, like I said, with Denver, they're all fairly priced. Let's go ahead and look at specifically.
I think that game could be sneaky high scoring.
Yeah. Millsap at 24 minutes, though, 5.1K. I don't like him. I will say that. I think there's better options on the slate.
I think from that game, if you are going to take anybody, if you're looking for cash, I'd probably like to pay up for Nikola Jokic, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Millsap could have a really strong game. I mean, going up against Atlanta, I think that this is going to be definitely a pace-up spot for Denver, which is pretty evident. So I think any of those guys could have real good games, and I think this game could be very high scoring.
Kai Bowman without no Draymond. Kai Bowman is projected at 20 minutes. That does scare me a little bit. 3.5 is a good price tag for him, but if it's only 20 minutes, I would say no. Very, very low owned. Could be a complete GPP flyer, but just not that productive of a player for 20 minutes. So I would advise no if he's only getting 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think you need to check and wait. I mean, it kind of stinks because they're the late night hammer. But if you are looking at Kai Bowman, I think it's pretty important that he gets the start. because I feel like if he does start, he could see an uptick in minutes more than those 20. Right now, he is projected to, but I feel like they might start Burks. So Bowman coming off the bench, if he does see those 20 minutes, I mean, yeah, GPP flyer, but nothing you want to mess with in cash tonight.
Pascal is our favorite play. Just want to reiterate that for anybody new joining from the Warriors. Sano dropped a lineup: DeJounte Murray, Smart, Thad Young, Giannis. Thad Young only if Markkinen's not playing. Giannis, Sabonis, Hart. What?
That's legitimately my cash lineup right now.
Well, there you go. You just confirmed a really solid lineup.
That's what I'm staring at.
That's funny.
You know, you can go. I kind of like the Sabonis Giannis, but if you do want to pay up, you can also go Luka and Hield over that. But right now, I'm looking at Giannis and Sabonis as my last two. That's pretty funny.
I tell you, Sano, I'm telling you, I will say it again. Fire lineups every single time. You guys need to take note of this guy. Follow him on Twitter or something. Find his name and follow him on everything because he's providing some solid advice in here. Let's see. Favorite pay up options? Yes, Giannis and Doncic. I'll go ahead and look at the price tags now of every single player and see if I like anybody else. Doncic, Giannis are my favorite. Trae Young, no, 9.8. With Collins, I think he's expected to play. Like I said, we did like Jokic just because he is in a smash spot. Good matchup, high-paced game. I think more of a GPP, obviously. Sabonis is also a good pay-up option. I'm not going to go any lower. I think those are our favorite pay-up options.
Somebody asked about Paz tonight getting the backup minutes.
Who?
At center. I don't even know how to say his last name. I mean his first name. It's the backup center for the Wizards. Paznisis.
Oh, yeah. He pronounced it the other day when I was watching them. I forget how he said it.
So, yeah, I figured that's why you were skipping over it.
No, I didn't even see it yet. I haven't scrolled down that low.
Oh, okay.
The way they call me out.
Oh, my God. So, at 3-6 tonight, getting those backup minutes, I think we touched base on this earlier. I said Williams is down to the G League, and so is Schofield. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely a GPP option if you want to take that chance. I know bigs have always done well against the Celtics, but since Canner's been here, I feel like he's cleaned up the boards nicely for us with that second unit. So he will see Canner on the board. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to take a GPP flyer, that's fine, but I don't think he's going to get anything more than 20, 22 minutes. I think Mahimi actually makes for a pretty good GPP play tonight. I feel like he could see more than 24 minutes, which is what his projection is right now. So I do like Mahimi as a GPP.
Yeah, with Beal being ruled out again, I feel like a lot of these guys are underpriced. So hopefully we get it soon. I think that's when we're going to wrap up the stream is right when I hear that news because I think that's going to give me a general direction. If he is playing, we already gave out a lot of advice on the slate.
I hope he's playing because I don't want to go through the stress and the heartbreak of having to break up my lineup right now.
Yeah.
And I hope Markkinen's out. So I feel like that would make everything. Let's just have Beal play, have Markkinen sit, so TJ can just go on with his night and it can be stress-free and it would be perfect.
You know, DFS, it doesn't happen that way.
I know. Beal's going to get ruled out, Markkinen's going to play, and then my laptop's going to get thrown against the wall. That's just a regular night here in my apartment. So
top three value plays: Pascal, Smart, Hart.
I'm going to say Pascal, Smart, and Thad Young if Markkinen's out.
Well, yeah, if he's out. But right now, I'd rather assuming that he's playing.
Yeah, well, Roto's not smart. So.
Okay.
We're smart, remember? 94% perfect.
94% perfect. That should be our new motto.
Someone asked Bielisa and Heel for GPP. Yeah, man, we touched base on Sacramento. We think they're in a great GPP spot. I would go Healed over Bielisa, but yeah, that game against Golden State, that could be a very juicy GPP matchup. So definitely advise Bielisa and Healed tonight for GPPs.
Bradley Beal ruled out. Here we go.
Oh my God! Why is the world the way it is?
All right.
Like,
Bradley
why do
Beal
they keep doing this with him though?
I don't know why they keep doing that.
Like, if
it's not football, it's not like you have to redraw your entire playbook.
Back play that one random game. If he was dealing with this leg injury, put him on IR. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
I don't
pull a John Wall. Just get him out of here.
I don't understand. Why? I don't get why they randomly had him playing against Orlando. Orlando, he sat 2 games prior to that against Miami, New York. Hasn't played against
Calm
Portland,
down.
Denver. He's been a game time decision each time. It just doesn't make any sense.
We're going to handle this together, guys. Everybody, don't panic. We got this.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, without looking at anything, I think this makes McRae a really good play. I don't like the matchup that the Wizards have against the Celtics. I think the Celtics are a very sound defensive team. I know I love Marcus Smart and the way he defends. So, I mean, it is a tough matchup for the Wizards, but they are all relatively underpriced. So, especially with Beal out, I like Mitch Smith and McRae now, so we'll have to see. I mean, I know Matt's computing.
Yep.
And I'm sure you guys can see it live. I'm also gonna go behind the scenes and do some numbers myself. So yeah.
We do have to wait for the minutes to update though.
Yeah.
That's the
I
only
mean,
thing.
I guess I'm gonna go ahead and gauge as to what I think the numbers should be for
Yeah,
minutes.
I'll tell you what though, this Beal news, just in general, Beal being off the court has really opened up some opportunity for McRae. I tell you what, dude, I watched him play the other night, and
He was terrible last night. The night before that, he was absolutely amazing.
It was a couple nights ago. It was whatever night I was watching him shoot the ball, and he is a great basketball player. I mean, he has good vision. He shoots well. He plays good defense. He's a passionate basketball player. I really am a fan of him, and I don't know where he came from or just the opportunity that was presented to him. I hope he gets more minutes when Beal is back. I really do.
I mean, he played 30 minutes alongside Beal against Orlando, so I think the minutes are there for him going forward. Yeah, I don't think
it's just cool to see those kind of things happen. Looks like Beal was taken off. Minutes have not updated though. Ish Smith 26, Brown 29. Yeah, I have to wait just a few more minutes, guys. For those who are with us and new to the stream, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe button. We do this every single night. We give you an edge against the field. We go over injury news and we give you our favorite plays. We have been on a roll as of late. We recommended a full Miami / Portland stack last night. It paid off. I took down a GPP personally. It was a fantastic night. It was probably the second best night I've had all season last night. TJ with his cash lineup also did fairly well. Would have taken it really far in GPPs as well. So with all that being said, guys, please hit that subscribe button if you want to be a part of the community. We're new and we are booming. We personally have been doing this for a while, but the company is relatively new. We've been around for about a year. So again, guys, appreciate all the support. If you haven't heard of us, look out because we will be one of the best. All right. We do this consistently day in and day out, and we pay attention to detail. We do a lot of stuff that other guys don't. So, yes, McRae is a fantastic play. We're still waiting these minutes to get a complete update. Again, guys, it is a pace down spot for Boston, them playing against Boston. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't do a full Washington stack tonight. I would not. I would only take a couple players from Washington. That's without doing any research. Right now, I'm still awaiting these minutes, and I like prematurely doing the calculations. Yep, now we just have to wait for Markkinen, and then we'll be set.
I'm assuming that news won't break until after lock, of course. So.
Yeah. Now let me look at that real quick because I think Markkinen was more towards a probable side. Markkinen. If you guys have any news on Markkinen, please put it in the chat. No trolling, please.
No trolling. Don't troll us, guys. Come on. This is serious. No trolling. Yeah.
Didn't participate in shoot around to be a game time decision is the only thing that I see.
Yep. It hasn't updated since, so it's going to be
yeah, and that's another thing about me and TJ is if we're going to say we like somebody, we're going to say we like somebody, and we're going to have confidence in it. We're not going to say, we kind of like this guy. You might want to start him sometimes. And no, we're going to take hard stances on guys. Tonight, we've already taken some hard stances on a couple people. Smart should be in all your lineups, a majority of your lineups. Pascal's another great play.
As long as he starts.
And Josh Hart.
Right now I'm seeing it should be Wall out, Miles, Beal, Bertans, Bryant, Mo Wagner, and Rue. Huchimama.
Uchimama.
So
Who's your mama?
I mean, McRae, 1.28 fantasy point per minute. The one thing I did notice,
Wow, their
with
starting lineup is horrible. Did you see that?
what, the Wizards?
Yeah,
No, but I hope McRae's coming up. No, he's starting.
he's starting. And Bonga and Mahimi are
Yeah, well,
starting
Bonga,
with Peyton.
I mean, I kind of figured Bonga was going to start because they put Williams down in the G League, so that makes sense.
Is Markkinen actually out, or did somebody just troll us after we just got them saying we're to not troll?
Obviously, people are going to troll you, bro. So the one interesting thing that I noticed with the
Thank you,
Wizards, especially over these last two games. So McRae actually didn't start against Portland, came off the bench and logged 35. He had 35 points in 33 minutes. Started against Denver, which was obviously a tougher matchup. Only played 29 minutes and only had 11 points. He had a terrible shooting night. And then Ish Smith, so they actually flip-flop. So Ish Smith, when he came off, or I'm pretty sure Ish Smith started against Portland, only had 28 points, but then came off the bench against Denver and had 54 DraftKings points. So I don't know if I want to go Ish Smith over McRae. Schofield just got added to the player pool. I thought he got sent down in the G League.
Is your Roto working? Because mine is lagging.
Yeah, I'm good. I thought Schofield got sent down to the G League, but maybe I'm wrong. Thought him and Williams both did.
There we go.
Not that matters.
Me a heart attack there for a second.
Yeah, so that's just an interesting tidbit. I feel like the guy coming off the bench, especially for the Wizards, benefits more because they're going to be way more ball dominant with the second unit opposed to the first unit. And I feel like Ish Smith and McRae kind of flip-flop. The starter didn't do as well as the guy coming off the bench in the last two games. So I don't know if that kind of shakes things up for you because Ish Smith and McRae are both the same price tag. But with these guys off the court, McRae is a 1.28 fantasy point per minute. Ish Smith is a 1.16 fantasy point per minute. McRae should get more minutes. I don't expect him to shoot as bad as he did against Denver. He could draw Marcus Smart. I mean, I would assume that actually IT draws Marcus because I'm assuming IT might be the primary ball handler. So, I mean, McRae looks better on paper, but I kind of like Ish Smith off the bench a little more just off of recency bias, but that is without actually looking at any numbers. So that's just me thinking out loud, like my thought process.
I heard a little bit of that, but I can't multitask. I do like McRae as being a solid option just in general.
Sano, thank you. I didn't know that. Yeah, Schofield got called up from the G League tonight. I thought he was still down there, so that makes sense. Go ahead, Matt.
I like McRae. Is it Matthews or Matthews? Have we ever figured out? I think it's Matthews. Matthews is actually not a bad play either at 3.1. I didn't realize that he had that price tag at 3.1. He still isn't being adjusted. They really assume that Beal is playing. They must have adjusted the price tags like that because Washington is still undervalued. So I actually like Matthews tonight. Definitely a solid GPP option.
Yeah, Matthews actually, I think he shot. See, the only thing with him is he's so scoring dependent with threes. Like that's all he does is take threes.
Yeah.
So last game I took him against Denver, and he only hit two. He only hit two shots. I think he only took like 6 in his 24 minutes or whatever he played. Game before that, of course, I think he was like 6 or 7 shooting threes. So he's definitely scoring dependent. So I don't like him, but like value wise, like for sure at 3-1, yeah, I don't think you can get wrong. I don't think you can go wrong with him.
Yeah, this definitely changed things up. It looks like Ish Smith is another good play, as you had already said. Yeah. Troy Brown being the only guy that's fairly priced. Is Gary Payton a good play? If he's actually only getting 17 minutes, you never know what's going on with him. I think his price tag at 4. If he was bottom of the barrel price, I would take a stab at him, but I feel like no. I don't have confidence in him anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I think his kind of hero ball that he was playing in those first games when he got called up, I think that might be a little dead in the water, especially when Beal comes back. So I think the Gary Payton dream's over. I feel like the Wizards just have a ton of guards. So yeah, it looks like their minutes updated. Yeah, Ish Smith's a great play. Gray. I mean, God,
They're good plays. They're great plays. We like the Wizards again tonight, and starting with McRae and Ish Smith, I think are our favorite options. Matthews being a good GPP play.
I mean, if he does get 25 minutes, yeah, I don't want to get burned by him again. But I feel like there's other value that I want to tend to.
Now, I do want to say this for people who haven't joined the chat. What generally with somebody in a team in a very tight rotation like this, matchup isn't as important. Now they are in a very good, or a very bad matchup rather against Boston. Obviously, being 109 isn't completely ideal, but since they have such a tight rotation, it's like you're looking at guaranteed minutes at that point. Whereas if you're looking at other teams, those players aren't guaranteed minutes. Like if this ends up in a blowout for some reason with Boston and the Wizards, a lot of these players are still going to get a run. So we do like teams with very tight rotations like the Wizards, even in bad matchups. And I don't even know if you can consider this a really bad matchup because 109 isn't too bad. So I know TJ's a Boston fan. He might speak against that, but it's not that bad of a matchup. So I definitely like the Wizards tonight. And I feel like I've said that like 4 out of the past 5 nights, but still.
The Wizards, yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with them, especially now that Bill's out. So,
never mind.
I think McGray is probably going to be, I don't know, again, my leg is cramping. I did legs the other day at the gym for the first time, and I don't know how long. And my hamstring keeps cramping. Sitting all day is hard. I think McGray's probably going to be the chalkiest play in the slate now if he does get those 34 minutes, and he's going to be getting the start. You'll see his ownership just completely skyrocket now. So along with and Garrison Matthews again coming off the bench at 3-1, he'll definitely get some ownership as well. So, but good luck trying to figure out if he's going to shoot well. The one thing, and this is just off, I'm not too sure where the Celtics rank. But I know from watching their games, and I'm pretty sure from checking it recently, they're not very good at defending the 3-point line. So I'm gonna actually look that up now because Garrison Matthews is very scoring dependent, and all he does is take threes. So that's an important thing to note.
I just noticed the time. I'm gonna get off in about 3 to 5 minutes. So if you guys want to fire away any questions, I want to have enough time to set my exposures. I have here. I usually do this for you guys. These are going to be my favorite plays on the slate here. These are not going to be my exact exposures. I'm not going to have 100% to Jordan McRae. So, but I will have a decent amount. So Jordan McRae, Marcus Smart, Pascal being up there, Doncic and Giannis being our favorite pay-up options, Ish Smith being a great play as well, and Garrison Matthews. It looks like Ish Smith and Garrison Matthews are very low, very, very low owned-wise. They haven't updated that, but if it's this close to lock, they might not have high ownership regardless, and with all the options being out there, they are two of my favorite GPP options, I'd say. Vooch also being an elite option. Josh Hart is still not a bad option as well. And I think those top my favorite plays on the slate. TJ, I think we pretty much covered everything. Is there any other thoughts you want to talk about? Anything else that intrigues you about the slate that we haven't touched base on?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I think you need to look at I think you really need to take into consideration these Wizards guys, especially McRae. And I'm looking at Garrison Matthews as well, just because of that price tag at 3-1. In a game that they're going to be probably behind against the Celtics, and they're going to need scoring. So I also like IT2 a little bit at 4-1. I think that price tag is too cheap. I might actually see myself come off of Josh Hart and go to IT for cash. So yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out a little bit more. But I am going to take off Matt so that I can finalize what I have going on here, so I can post for our members. So yeah.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate the support. Again, if you haven't already, we do this every single night, so please hit that subscribe button. Say bye to TJ. TJ, thanks for showing up yet again.
Okay, guys. I'll catch you out there. Have a good night. Good luck.
Good luck, guys. Good luck. I'll answer any last-minute questions you guys have about the slate. Any last-minute questions you have, go ahead and fire them off. I'll give you a couple more minutes to answer any questions. And again, I usually run these exposures, just show you the mold of the lineups, what direction we are going. Doncic looks like he's going to be in a lot of my lineups with all of the value on the slate now. But thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is yet another successful stream. Really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us. And if there's no questions, I'm about to get off here pretty soon. Looks like there's no more questions, so I will go ahead and sign off, guys. Have a great night. Have a great Monday night. Let's cash out tonight, guys. Let's have another successful DFS night.